salsa. Let's admit it, guys. We put it on our tacos. We dip it in our chips. We splatter it over our eggs. Salsa brings flavor to our lives, to our cuisine, to our daily life. So today, we're feeling the salsa love with Feel Good Salsa. An interesting twist on how salsa is made, and the best way to tell if you got the right thing. So let's chat with Dina from Feel Good Salsa. This is Dina.
Feeling good with Feel Good Salsa.
So what's your speed? Mild, medium, or hot? And mind you, we don't make them crazy hot because they're locally sourced.
So although I am Mexican, I'm not the most,
Adventurous?
Let's start with
Okay.
let's go through all of them, but
Okay.
start from
The least spicy?
Yeah,
Okay,
least.
so the mild.
Yes.
So the mild is actually, it has very little heat. And some people who like heat like that because they say that you can taste more of the flavor, like it gets, so even though they like hot, they'll get the mild because they're like, I can just get more of the flavor because you don't get the heat. So
All
you
right,
let me know.
let's do it.
And it's roasted chile de árbol. So I don't know if you know anything about like how dry peppers versus wet peppers, but the dry pepper is actually, we call it a Trojan heat. So you won't feel it right away, kind of like a habanero or a serrano pepper.
Okay.
It'll kind of come on the back end. But this is super mild. So I mean, by most standards. That's your
the tortilla or the chip, so good, crispy, yummy. The salsa, it's got a bit of a kick,
yeah.
but I like it. Like if you're thinking about doing like huevos, scrambled eggs.
Yep.
Like it gives it a good just it makes it more flavorful.
Yeah, and it's got like a really
Yummy.
complex flavor because we roast everything,
really
and it draws out all the flavors. So like roasted garlic, roasted onion.
I taste that. It's really good.
That smokiness.
Yeah.
Everything I have right now is from California except for my chilies, and I am working with a community garden to grow my chilies. That's one of the projects for Feel Good Salsa, and so we pride ourselves in that. So that's very unique. I don't know any other salsa product in the farmer's market or even just in general that is locally sourced, and that was one of the big passions that I had. Was I didn't want food to travel a lot of miles. I didn't want to create a giant carbon footprint, but it also tastes superior. It started off with like I tested a bunch of things, but at the end it was almost like the universe told me this was right, because when I did salsas with tomatoes that were just like you buy down from downtown LA or from like the Mexican store or whatever, and they're shipped from Utah and they're shipped unripened and they're changed temperature and all this nonsense, versus the farmer's market who they picked it the day of or the day before, and it's a superior taste, it's a superior tomato. So that sealed the deal for me that was the right track. Okay, so this is one of the newest members of our line. This is Cactus Pico de Gallo, and it was a big risk to take because cactus is not a very common food. Mexicans are great at like coming up with ways to eat stuff, but I was a little concerned. But it's actually become quite a fan favorite.
Okay, so
now you get to. Have you had nopales before?
I have, but I've never had it like this, like a salsa.
The way I cook it, so I don't know if you've ever cooked nopales, but it has a texture of okra or like aloe vera that once you cut the membrane, it gets really slimy, and so it's kind of a turnoff for a lot of people. But the way I cook it, I'm able to cut a lot of that out. So even like when you see the juice, like it's not slimy.
Yeah.
If it was slimy, it would go like. It's got a little bit, you see it, but like if it was super slimy.
And I feel like salsa is such a great way to give something flavor. Like if you're trying to be a little bit more healthy, health conscious, health forward.
Yes.
It brings a flavor to something.
Give that one a shot.
It has that sort of it has the richness of like a fresh pico de gallo, but like with a twist.
Yeah.
With the
like
cactus.
that little crunchy. Yeah. It's almost like crunchy, chewy. Yeah.
Super
Some
fresh.
people say it tastes like ceviche, which
Yeah,
like I
it
know
does
that
remind me of
people
that.
have vegan like people they make like mushroom ceviche and stuff like that. So I was just a cactus pico de gallo. I only use locally sourced ingredients, so that's similar to like a tropical, like a pineapple salsa or a mango salsa. But since neither of those two things grow here in Southern California, I went with peaches, and it's also been a fan favorite. I've usually sold out of it, so
It's really good.
It's really tasty.
So I just noticed, well, one of my favorite things about chips is the kinds that have like a little bit of a bubble. Do you see that bubble right there? So
The imperfect.
How does that work? How do they get bubbly like that? I love
So
that.
actually, it's just because of the temperature, the temperature transition from like them being cold to them going into the heat. Like some of them get those little bubbles and some of them don't. I actually don't like them because it creates inconsistencies in the texture. But it's really hard to keep it all consistent. And I'm in a small commercial kitchen, so the fryer is super tiny. So when we do, sometimes like one will be like popping out and it won't get the same like consistent heat all around. So
I'm a fan of
the imperfect
chips. So here we go.
I need to take a page from your book.
All right, here we go.
Can't you see like these little are cubed like perfectly? They have to be perfect. Yeah? Is that your favorite? That's usually what happens is people sample all and then they like land on the peach and then they'll take the peach. So
There's something like the fruit really adds a different kind of something you're not used to with salsa.
So I really do put a lot of effort into thinking about well, how does my carbon footprint affect the world? How does my product affect the world? And then talking to people about that so that then they can also be encouraged about not only you're not just buying salsa because like you can buy salsa anywhere, but it's a mission and it's kind of like I call it the Feel Good Crusade. Like you're part of the Feel Good Crusade once you become a member of like the Feel Good family. Like this is my recipe. This is the one that I developed. That was kind of. Can I say things in Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
So I don't know if everybody will know, but like I would throw salsa together at chingadazo. So it was like a tomato, like whatever, and then I had to go back and actually turn it into a recipe because people would be like, "Oh, your salsa's so good, you should sell it." So eventually I quit my job and did that.
You're like,
yeah. So. So this was my ay chingadazo, and then my
Say
mom
it louder,
asked,
please, so that everyone can
this
hear
is
you.
my ay chingadazo. So in Spanish, it's just like throw it all together.
So
And I can give you a chip to follow up after
okay,
that one if
thank you,
that
thank
was
you.
too
So
hot for
this
you.
is the hottest one. Here we go.
Yeah. And I actually always taste test them right before the market just to be sure that it was on point.
What do you think, Dina?
I literally eat it almost every day.
It's good.
It's so good. I think it's so good.
It wasn't even that bad.
See, I need Mexicans to tell me, like, good.
Is the barometer of the like legit like hardcore Mexican people, especially like Mexican women that can make their own salsa, because I figure like if they are willing to pay me money for something that they can do and do well, then I know I'm golden. I'm like, I've nailed it. Like my people are my barometer. Like if the Mexicans like it, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
They don't get no love.